Howdy guys. So naked Nathan here. All right, so let's commentate on this episode of Guild Wars 2. We're playing support Paragon, and this is a high G3 game. Ended up being a pretty good game, so figured I would make a video and tell you what I did. So I just wanted to point out that in the beginning I'm using this trick. So Paragon has a ton of mobility, and one trick to get a bit more mobility out of your moves is to switch your weapon at the end of your leap for any like leap moves. So for sword 2 or even staff 2, this will work. So you'll notice I do it right here. See, I switch weapons right at the end just to get a bit more momentum. That's like a little trick you can do. Works on any class. But so anyways, let's get into the gameplay now. So we're going into mid. Kind of had an AFK thief at home, but he ends up getting it together. So, um, so what I want to say right off the bat when you're playing any support, what I learned is that you basically want to stay in the team fight only as long as you have to stabilize it and basically make sure that your teammates are going to win the fight. But you don't want to stay longer. And that especially goes for Paragon because Paragon has a ton of mobility. So your big advantage is you can run into a fight, top everyone off, give them all the boons, and then run away to another fight. And so you'll see me do that a couple times. Even though you're probably going to be at mid most of the time, supporting your duelist is going to be important. So anyways, immediately the scrapper goes down. So I do my banner of defense, get some stability, and then I start casting my elite, which revives him. Thankfully, I got it off, but that was really close. So I didn't expect that much burst, and I don't know if it's their enemy like scrapper or hollow, but he has a ton of burst. So it's gonna be cutting it close a few times. Okay, so now I got a hand res. I cast my F3 to get some stability, and I'm hoping that my teammate can kind of finish this off here. He goes for the hand res too, so that's fine. And now this fight is pretty much good. So I'm already looking where I can go to help out. We lost far. This isn't ideal that my thief's dueling on an enemy capped node, but I'm gonna go in, just blast everything I've got. Heal him up, give him all the boons so that he can have the best chance of winning this fight. Okay, so I leave here because they're already spawning and coming back to mid, and I think my thief can kind of handle it from there, at least stall a bit longer. So that's the thing about the support is Paragon 2 is like your role is to kind of like finish off enemies that are low health. Like when you see an opportunity to do that, your sword can do that little bit of damage, and your sword burst immobilizes them. So it's yeah, it's a great class to just kind of get that little bit of HP off the enemy if you're the one that needs to do that. So in that case, I was, and I finished him off. It's all good, and this fight is just about stabilized. So okay, probably didn't need to go. Oh no, I saw that he was healing. That's why I went. I just didn't want him to get the res. And okay, so now I got a hand res because my teammate went down. Okay, so my thief wasn't able to make home happen. Honestly, he probably just shouldn't be dueling a Weaver if he can't win the fight, but that's not my responsibility. So now we're in a bit of a tough situation. We're still behind. Thief's gonna go home, and that's fine. So I'm staying here because this is the team fight is where the most damage happens, and as a support, you typically want to spend most of your time where the most damage from the enemy is happening. Which kind of brings me to my next point, which is playing a support is radically different than playing any other class or archetype in Guild Wars 2 PvP, because instead of making red bars go down, um, you're making green bars go up. And I should say, instead of making red bars go down or capping nodes, bringing nodes to further to your team, either neutralizing them or full capping them, your role is to keep green bars up. And so that means that your rotations are going to be like vastly different from other team fighters, duelists, thieves, decappers, whatever. So I just want to say it's a huge paradigm shift, because what it also means is that you're basically just going to let your teammate do the rotations, and you're just going to commit to whatever they decide. So in some ways, it's more of a follower. Like it's a support. You're supporting your teammates' decisions, even the bad ones. And that's the toughest part of playing as a support, is when your team makes bad rotations, you got to commit to it anyway. It's always better. I mean, 99% of situations, it's better to commit to your team in a bad rotation decision than go off and make the right rotation decision. Because if your team dies, you're gonna die. You're gonna lose whatever node you decapped, whatever. So you gotta make sure you support your team. It's kind of a constant thing that I'm having to learn all the time. Is I can't make the typical rotation decisions that I would as a team fighter or duelist. I have to just stick with my team. So, so the okay, so yeah, I'm just sticking at team fight at mid, because that's where all the damage is, and teammate is doing a good job surviving, kind of giving everything I've got. Um, okay, unfortunately, that happened. Yeah, I was gonna die, so I couldn't even have gotten my elite off. I kind of backed off to reset because I didn't really have an option there. Um, I was almost gonna die. So thankfully, we got the side notes here. I'm going to also just say a little note here that Paragon, I think this is the first line of traits. Um, Whatever I have selected, you can look at the build linked in the description. Basically, what it does is that every time you use one of your chants, your chants, it will decrease the cooldown of the other chants by like 3 or 4 seconds, which is huge. So you'll always see me blasting my F1 chant, chant of action, I think, uh, like basically whenever it's off cooldown, because I'm then reducing the cooldown of the other chants, which are way more important. Sometimes I even use my F3, the stun break chant, like when I don't need to stun break, because it will reduce the second, the F2 chant, which is your heal chant, which is the most important chant. I mean, stun break chant is good, but you also have another stun break, so it's not that big a deal. Okay, so they're starting to focus me, which is fine because I can kite a bit, and just making sure they're off me. Okay, so I think I see this guy is almost dead, which is why I go for him. And then right there, I see he's blocking, so I cast Staff 3, which makes your attacks and anybody around you, your allies' attacks unblockable. So we're able to cut through his block and then uh, and get them down there. So okay, well, I'm almost dead. I gotta run. This guy's gonna chase me. Uh, See, I blast all my chance because I got nothing left. Okay, so we're doing good now. At least we're tied. Weaver is at home. I could have pushed far with my team, but um, I think generally, and maybe this wasn't the right call, but I think generally, I wanted to go home because uh, having home and mid is really important. I think far is usually like extra that your duelist is supposed to take. And so I went and I decapped because the thief wasn't decapping, he was fighting off node. Fighting off node is like the number one thing that, will annoys me, at least as a support, is when your team is just doing the fight off node, because it's not really helping anybody and could be fighting on node. But anyways, it happens all the time, so you just got to work around it. And I figured the thief could survive there for long enough. Anyways, okay, so it's me and this scrapper again. Um, at least I think he's a scrapper. Yeah, and so we stabilized the fight. Rev lost far, which is fine. So I'm just trying to heal this scrapper up. He goes down again. Hand res isn't gonna work here, so just give that up. Um, and this is probably lost now. Okay, so yeah, I have a choice now, like where to rotate to. I probably actually should have gone far because that's probably where most of the damage is going. I think I was a little bit like tilted at this point because we kept dying, losing the team fight. But we're actually not doing bad. We're not that far behind. And yeah, despite not going far, which maybe was the move because that's my teammate goes down because I didn't go there. So wasn't a great rotation, I think, from me. Because the rest of my team wiped and I got to stick with my team. So, but it's okay. We're not doing too bad. The Vert went into the team fight at mid alone, which is never good. So I guess I'll comment maybe on my teammates' rotations too because I also play other roles, team fighter, duelist, and as a Vert you're typically a team fighter. You don't want to be going to any node alone because you're not a duelist, especially not mid. Um, so just as a note to all the Verts out there, don't go mid alone if the whole enemy team is there. Yeah. So I'm just again, pumping all my stuff. Uh, oh yeah. So let's say another thing about Paragon is like you have a ton of mobility, so I'm always using my mobility to like kind of weave in and out of the fight, so I take minimal damage while also supporting my team. So that's what I'm doing there, and we got the down, which is awesome. And so this fight is actually quite significant. We end up, I think, getting all the kills, all the enemy down, but the Weaver is back at home. So, and then my team is spending time on. Well, I'm also spending time on killing this warrior, who has vengeance, so he's gonna die anyway. The Vert is going far alone, and questionable decision there. But so here I am again. Maybe I should have gone far, but nobody went to decap home, so I figured while we have a break and the enemy team is respawning, I'm gonna go decap home and take care of that. Somebody pings me to go home, but I'm like, yeah, bro, that's not my job. And so because I didn't go far, the Vert died. But so anyways, questionable rotation decision. I don't know if that was the right one, but okay. So we're back into fight at far. Thief goes home to duel the Weaver. Oh no, I guess it's there's two at home. Okay, and then the thief goes down. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe not sure about the rotations there, but okay, we got to mid just the last tick, so it's still ours, which is great because now we're fighting on fully capped node, which is ideal for us. I'm just kind of spamming my abilities now. Nothing too fancy here, but we got two nodes, but of course we're probably going to lose far pretty soon. See, there's another example of like you just squeezing out that bit of damage just to swing the fight in your favor as a support Paragon, especially with the sword burst, which has immobilize. So that's pretty important. All right, so since we have two here, probably didn't also need to go here as well, but It's fine. Okay, and this guy, I think I start to kind of precast that. Okay, so now I'm like really hoping that uh yeah, my rep comes here so that I can heal him up. If you're playing with a support, like, and you want to live generally for non-support players, like, stick with your support. That's the best thing you can do. The closer you are to him, like, the more likely you're gonna survive. Um, so, anyways, thankfully he does come to me. Maybe I should have followed him, but we would have lost the node, so that was kind of a risky decision, but it paid off in that particular instance. Um, Okay, so now that all is stabilized, and I am going to go home. Uh, okay, I missed the stability on him, but one thing I want to say, if I don't already say this in the build section, is that your banner of defense there, the one with the book, is gives you super speed. So sometimes I'll just use it even if I'm not like if I don't need the stability, but I need to get away or get towards somewhere really fast, like I'll just, as long as you're in combat, it'll give you super speed, which is a 100%, like twice as fast movement speed. So it's great. So man, we got the rest of the map, and the Rev is going for the gate, uh, which okay, that's fine as long as he's guarding the node. And once again, the immobilized just kind of lets us finish that warrior. So and now we're in the lead, so things are looking better, but it's still very close. I'm gonna juke this Rev around, see, and kind of playing ring around the rosy here with him. Uh, okay, so now this is where I make a bad rotation decision. We're in the lead. We got two nodes. I should have absolutely gone home, but I saw that red down marker on the map, and I think, oh, I've got my elite banner. I can go finish him. Of course, I don't make it on time. Just a bad rotation decision. And now, to be honest, this is now tough because I probably should have just left. Um, yeah, I probably should have just went home. Kind of a bad rotation here because at the end of the game, like you just want to stick on the nodes that you have to finish it off. But I didn't do that because again, I saw red blood and I just went. I also should have bannered the down body because then I would have rezzed my teammate, but I didn't do that either. So I kind of got sloppy here at the end and just got narrowly focused on that down. Thankfully, someone stays at home and we end up winning the game. So I thought that was a good game. It was close pretty much the whole time. My team played fairly well, and the opposite team did too. So, but there were mistakes made, all around. So, yeah, hope you had fun. I know I did, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.